but damn it, there is no filler on this thing. I love this album. I love Ratt.
I have a Motley Crue tattoo right here. I'm going to get that covered up with a fucking Ratt tattoo because their albums are 10 times better than the Motley Crue albums.
This is probably the most exciting, debaucherous time to be a member of Ratt.
When it came out, it was like, shit, Ratt is back.
I love I Want a Woman. What a shit song title, but what a great fucking song.
Number 2 is also Invasion of Your Privacy. And first of all, let's talk about that model on the cover.
She's a devil, but I like that ass.
I'll say this about Way Cool Jr. Horns fucking don't belong in metal, okay?
I mean, the verses of a lot of the songs are great, but there's not a chorus to back it up.
Can't get any more direct than all the rest of the songs on it are shit. Charlie's here. Yeah, tell everybody that you're gonna kill the cat. Gonna eat the cat.
It's got that Ratt production. The balls are back.
I know I talk like I hate the fucking cat, but then it sits. Ow!
Hey, did the herpes get the girl away from you the other night?
Hey, I am very sensitive. All right, all you ladies out there.
He's the hottest thing to ever hit this town. Come on.
You like the way I hold and squeeze you, and then bam, the drum kicks in.
You got me kind of horny there.
Let me just do this for you.
Holy shit! It's not that hard, people.
Look, I came here to do 2 things: chew bubblegum and talk hair metal. And it looks like I'm almost out of bubblegum.
Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru, and you see a bunch of good-looking faces again, and you know that it is Roundtable time again. And this time, we're going to call this the Ratt Round and Round Table. And so a great discussion. We're looking forward to ranking. Hey, one of the all-time favorite hair metal bands, and one of the bands that was there from, you know, one of the earlier hair metal bands to come out and make this genre something that we know and love. Ratt. We are going to be discussing 7 albums from Out of the Cellar, Invasion of Your Privacy, Dancing Undercover, Reach for the Sky, Detonator, the 1999 self-titled album, and Infestation. And with that, we got some lovely guests back with us. We are missing one guy, Jeremy, but everybody else is back. In the upper left-hand corner, we have the Rock Resurgence Radio guys. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us again. We appreciate it. I think you gave us a little boost in subscribers, and, you know, we'll return the favor sometime.
Awesome. And so we got Chad and Bergy, and Chad or whoever, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about your site and what you do, and let's get some traffic to go your way.
All right. Well, we do a podcast on YouTube called Rock Resurgence Radio, obviously, and those podcasts are on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. But if you really want to see us and hear some music, because right now we're not big time like the Guru, we're not monetizing anything, so we play some music on our show, but just on YouTube. So you got anything to add to that, Chad?
Nope. You can find us on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. I always put our shit on Reddit as well. So, yeah, I mean, if you can't find us, there's something wrong.
Yeah, and hey, you guys are kind of a newer channel. These guys are in Minot, North Dakota, so we've been chatting. I'm in Fargo, so they're just starting out, so go give them a follow. They're talking about a lot of cool hair metal content, so give those guys a little push. In the upper right-hand corner, we got Jay from Iowa. Jay, welcome back.
Oh, thanks for having me back.
Hey, good to have you back. And Jay, I know we didn't get into this last time, but I want, because you're a guitarist, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about your band and you know what you guys have done, so people can kind of get an idea of your background.
Band's name is Stone Park Ritual. Mostly original stuff, some covers. Played pretty much everywhere in Iowa and some surrounding areas.
Okay, so you guys are kind of on hiatus.
Yeah, let's say life gets in the way every now and then.
I can relate to that. But Jay was actually in Fargo. We were chatting. He played me some of his stuff, and I was like, "Damn, Number one, he can play, and you guys have a really top-notch singer too. Your singer's got some pipes, so awesome. What was the name of the band again? Tell everybody.
Stone Park Ritual.
Stone Park Ritual. Okay.
Yep.
All right. In the lower right-hand corner, we got Ryan coming back. Ryan, welcome back, my man.
Thanks for having me. Very fun last episode, and I'm looking forward to Ratt, a band I've always really loved.
Okay. Are you working the old firefighter job tonight?
Mm-hmm. It's like I never go home.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, hey, since you're never at home, if your wife ever needs anybody to help keep the home fires burning, let me know. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. Bryan in the lower left-hand corner from the Hairband Basement. Bryan, how's it going?
Hello, sir. Thanks for having me back. Last time was fun. Hopefully it's just as good. I personally would have named this the Ratt and Roll Roundtable, but I'm not the guru, so I'm not going to say anymore on that. Let me get to my shit. You can find me. I got a show on Station Head. Download the app, and you can listen to my show on Friday nights where you hear the deepest tracks, the rarest of bands, and the little-known songs from the biggest name artists from before, during, and after the Decade of Decadence. So if you don't want to hear Here I Go Again, listen to my show. You hear some deeper stuff. Again, download the app. I'm on there. You can also find me on X, formerly known as Twitter. Always talking music there.
Awesome. And hey, you can follow me on X at Hair Metal Guru. While I'm here, hey, if you're new to the channel, would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. What the hell? Ring the bell if you want to get notifications every time I post a video. Try to do about 2, sometimes even 3 videos a week. And hey, whatever. I just appreciate anybody that takes the time to watch a little bit. Before we get into it, I want to show off a couple things that I have framed. This is a black and white, but this is from July of 1987. It's called BAM magazine, which stands for Bay Area Magazine, from San Francisco. And I know the glare is in there, but this is for a concert. Ratt was the headliner, Poison was the opener, and it was at the Ventura County Fairgrounds, Friday, July 17th of 1987. I got 2 more things that'll be really quick. Also have, and these are going to be a little bit better, they'll be in color. This is one of my pride and joy items from Ratt, and an original Invasion of Your Privacy ad. Came out of a Billboard magazine. I wish I didn't have the glare in it, but for Invasion, an album we'll be talking about shortly, and an ad for the Detonator album. So, some cool Ratt items for anybody who likes to rat and roll. And I've been known to rat and roll a little bit myself from time to time. Okay. We have 7 albums. We were originally going to do, and I want to point this out, we were originally going to do the 5 main albums from Cellar to Detonator, but one of my subscribers, Lucas, man, thank you for the suggestion, and thank you for subscribing. You do have the option of subscribing, becoming a member. You get early access to videos. You get first response to comments. But Lucas was like, man, if you guys do Ratt, will you please talk about the 1999 self-titled and the Infestation albums from 2010? Told everybody, I'm like, hey, let's change it up a little bit. Let's add those 2 albums. So we got 7 albums we're going through. And with that, let's get into it. We're going least favorite to favorite. And let's get started with the Rock Resurgence Radio guys. But you know what? I'm going to throw a curveball at you. We're going to start with Bergy. And Chad, you're going to go last. So Bergy, what is the lowest ranked Ratt album in your mind?
All right. Well, first I want to say thank you again for having us. We really enjoyed doing the Motley episode. And I want to say, too, this was really, really hard. Ratt's one of my favorite band, if not the favorite band.
Nice.
Gun to my head, if somebody asked, I might say Ratt's my all-time favorite. So
awesome.
Now, it's embarrassing that I don't have a Ratt shirt. I probably got 100 to 110 black rock and roll T-shirts. That's kind of a Johnny Dangerously reference. If you know, you know. If you don't. Oh, but anyway.
Hey, let me say that I fucking love that Bane shirt.
Thank you.
So I need one of those.
All right. So my number 7 and I hope I don't get too much shit for this pick. And maybe Lucas, since he wanted us to talk about this one. Oh, no, never mind. This is Detonator. Detonator is my number 7 pick. Down to that other one. So it's really hard. Like I said, this is really, really hard for me to pick. And I love some songs on this album. And because Ratt's one of my favorites, that's not a bad thing. I had to put these in some sort of order. I love all of their albums, just some more than others. And this had to fall into number 7 for me.
Okay.
I love Shame, 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 One Step Away, Heads I Win. They kind of put this album out in, what was it, 90?
90.
And
90.
I think it was kind of an attempt to regain some popularity from their earlier stuff. So quite a bit of a change from some of their earlier stuff. They got rid of Beau Hill, and they had
He produced that, I think. He said today on that interview.
I
That
don't-
he did.
Oh, really? Okay.
It wasn't Beau Hill. Desmond Child came in and was one of the producers and wrote a bunch of songs as well on that album.
Yeah, he was credited on every song except the intro, of course, but
Yep.
And also Diane Warren, which she wrote one of the songs. I don't remember which one, or helped write one of the songs, but she was, if you don't know her, she's a really prolific pop song writer. Like, she wrote stuff for Cher and
Yep.
not the stuff that we typically talk about here, of course. Like I said, really hard. I like this. I think it's good. What really made me decide on 7 for this album was the song "Lovin' You's a Dirty Job," and it was actually on the Ratt Collage album as a remix, and it was called Phonic Mix LP version, spelt with an F. That really ruined it for me. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with that version of it, but it's kind of rappy and really weird. And that just kind of ruined it for me. That put this down at 7. Hooked on Phonics worked for me, but not much for that Phonic LP. So that's my 7. Sorry, I've talked too long.
Okay. All right. That's perfectly fine. Okay, I'm next on the rotation, it looks like. So my number 7, and I'm shocked that Detonator was your number 7, so I'll start off by saying that. Mine is the 1999 self-titled album. Most people, if you follow the channel, you know that I'm into the sleazy, the gritty guitars, the choked up, freaking cocained up vocals. And this is the one album that I feel like Ratt wasn't a sleaze metal band. It felt like the riffs were cleaner. It was mellower. It was kind of bluesy at times. I'm not really a bluesy guy. So I'm sure it was a confusing time for the band. It's 1999, 8 years, removed from, hair metal still being at the top of the charts. And I'm sure they were, what are we we got to try something new, because our genre is going down the tubes, and it didn't work for me. So a couple of interesting things. It only went to 169 on Billboard, so their lowest charting album, and I kind of expected that. Jack Russell, rest in peace, from Great White, co-wrote "Live for Today," and Jack Blades of Night Ranger and Damn Yankees co-wrote "Dead Reckoning." So here's what I'll say quickly about the songs. Over the Edge, the opening track, it isn't bad. We Don't Belong is kind of a ballad. I didn't mind it. Breakout was decent. I think my favorite song was probably It Ain't Easy. It's kind of mid-tempo, but I didn't feel like there was really anything that was like grabbing into your chest and pulling your heart out. So I do not love this album. In fact, I don't know that I really like it. And Ratt's not my favorite band, but I'm a big fan of Ratt. And I think this is the only album that I'll say that about. I'm not really a fan. So the 1999 is my 7th and my least favorite. With that, Jay, what do you got?
I'm with you, man. I got the self-titled, released from 99 at number 7. Now, Over the Edge is a good song. I like it. So Good, So Fine, and Dead Reckoning are decent, but you said it before, and it's pretty accurate, and you kind of just were there in the description of this album. During the 90s, bands tried to reinvent themselves. Some took up the grunge style, some did whatever. This is basically Ratt doing that. It's not, I listened to it again last night just to freshen up on it. You'd be hard pressed to know it's Ratt.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have Stephen Piercy's, his snarl he's got with most of the vocals. I mean, it's not good. It's not bad. It's not horrible. It's just there.
Right. I agree with what you like. You don't hear a lot of that Stephen Piercy snarl. It's like he tries to use his clean voice. And
Right.
I think if you can really like Stephen Piercy's voice, it's when he has that snarl to it. This didn't really grab me vocally. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm with you. Got Ratt 99. I'm almost there with that. It seems like they really miss Robin a lot on this album, and every song is like begging me to like it, but I'm about 70% there on each one of them. But it's just as a comparison to the previous classics, I just can't get behind it like I do the rest. And Robbie Crane was kind of like the replacement guy, like the go-to replacement guy. So I'm sure he was stoked. But it's funny because the vocal styles you guys are talking about, but with Detonator and then Ratt 99 on Reach for the Sky and Detonator, Piercy's voice was high, and he was more like I don't know if you guys know the band White Cross, but the band White Cross, he and Piercy could be brothers. He's just the higher voiced Piercy. And that's where Piercy was going on like the Reach for the Sky and Detonator. But then like Jay was saying on this album, and the voice was a little cleaner, and like that growl and snarl wasn't there. And that's what we miss with the attitude of Ratt. So it's not bad. And Ratt's almost one of those bands that doesn't have a shitty album. You know what I mean? Like they have a collage, which sucks, but like they almost don't have that album that people are like, fuck slang, fuck Generation Swine, and fuck collage. They're this close to having it, but anyway, there we are.
All right. Awesome. Bryan.
I also have the self-title as my first one. I mean, you guys covered a lot of the stuff I was going to say. I don't think it's as bad as some of you guys are saying it is, but it's kind of like their forgotten album.
Yeah.
I played, what's the song I played on my show? Breakout. I don't think it's that bad of a song. I'm playing it going, this is pretty decent. I mean, Over the Edge isn't bad. Lovesick and Gave Up on Giving Up are decent songs. But I'm with Ryan. Ratt really doesn't have a Generation Swine level album suckage. But, I mean, this one I had the least connection with. Like I said, it's a forgotten album. It kind of came out at a time where Ratt was not a huge band. And, I mean, I think Jay said the album's kind of there. It doesn't suck, but it's really not great either. But it exists. That's why it's at my number 7.
The solid description, I think. Chad.
All right. Here is, I also have the self-titled as my number 7. And I kind of told you guys in text, I didn't listen to this one or Infestation that much, but I did listen to them in the last day and a half. And I did have, my notes on this album is it sounds raw. It's not polished like all their other ones, where, it's almost like Def Leppard perfect on all their other ones. It just has a really nice, clean, good sound. This one's more raw. It's almost like they recorded this in a garage without professional tools. Some of the songs I liked Over the Edge. I thought it was a decent opening. Gave Up, Giving Up. I really like the guitar. I like the solo. I like Dead Reckoning. I love that guitar riff. And It Ain't Easy is really catchy. So I think I could learn to like this more. I just haven't listened to it near enough to make a really, really informed decision. And that's part of why it got number 7 for me too. I just don't know this one in Infestation that well.
Don't you think in 1999 they probably didn't have the budget to be in a studio for a long time? I mean, I'm no musician, so you know, were
Interesting.
Pro Tools around and all that in 19 I don't know. But, you know,
If I'm thinking right, wasn't John Kalodner kind of behind this in a way?
the A&R guy, I
Yeah.
think he may have been.
I know a lot of
90
albums from these type of bands around that period. He was somewhat behind them,
Yep.
getting record deals, making things happen, whatever.
He was behind this, and he was behind Great Whites, Can't Get There From Here. And there might have been a couple of, I know he was in talks with Cinderella around that time, but I think they had some record label, you know, issues. And I don't know if Tom Kiefer's voice was, anyway, there was talk about Cinderella having an album out at the same time. It didn't come out, but
I did come to a epiphany while listening to Ratt over the past 5 days or whatever. I have a Motley Crue tattoo right here. It's the Theater of Pain, comedy and tragedy. And I came to the realization that I'm going to get that covered up with a fucking Ratt tattoo because their albums are 10 times better than the Motley Crue albums. Except for the first two Motleys.
okay.
Motley used to be one of my favorites. I'm like, their albums are like almost every song on every album is good. There's no, like, even this self-titled one that we're all putting at 7.
Yeah.
I picked over half of Motley Crue stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's no Generation Swine level album by Ratt. It's amazing they were able to put out albums consistently good for so long.
And I'll say this about Piercy. If you see Ratt or Piercy now live, I mean, his voice has never been great live, but he has one of the most original on record voices. I think his voice is, I mean, and Warren's guitars, obviously Warren and Robin, but his voice is a major like hook of the Ratt band. I love his voice on record. I just, every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, oh, that's so cool, that fucking grit.
Yeah. So I saw these guys on the Invasion of Your Privacy tour. I don't know, in Bismarck. Did anybody else go to that? Hair Guru or you?
No?
I'm not even close to that.
Bon Jovi opened for him.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's
shit.
epic.
And they were both great. That was the best I've ever heard Ratt sound. They sounded excellent. And I've seen them 3 times since then. And then it was like either the guitars were too loud and you couldn't hear his voice, or his voice was too loud and you couldn't hear the guitars. It just wasn't mixed well. So the very first time I saw him, amazing concert. It was phenomenal. And that was on Bon Jovi, one of my favorite Bon Jovi albums, the 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit. So, yeah, it was good.
The fact that Steven's voice has gone a little bit downhill over the years, the guy was never known for living the clean life. I mean, I think snorting cocaine off strippers' asses was a pretty nightly occurrence, in addition to cigarettes and booze and whatever. So,
yeah. Looks pretty rough. I watched a couple things today, so yeah.
But he's still out there doing it. And shit, the guy puts out a lot of solo albums too. So I appreciate the fact that he still fucking writes albums and puts shit out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Like I said, I just came to a realization that, my God, these albums are awesome. I can't believe I haven't listened to some of these things in 20 years.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
I know. What the fuck am I thinking? You know, and that's the great thing about this. I've talked about this before with Bergy, that since we started doing this, I'm listening to stuff that I haven't listened to in a long, long time. And that's kind of the fun part about it, is I'm going, oh yeah, I know why I like these guys so much, or, you know, whatever. So anyways.
Okay, let's get off this shit. But I will say that one of the comments that I get a ton in the videos is exactly that. Man, you're bringing back all these memories. I'm revisiting these albums. So that's one of the great parts about what we're doing here. Let's move on. Let's go to number 6. And shit, I'll start this one, and then it'll be Jay up next. And on that, we'll just go all the way around. So my number six, it's I don't want to say it's not a surprise. This is a fucking really good album. It's 2010's Infestation. And I think Ratt learned from the 99 album, because in reading about Infestation, Piercy said we were trying to get into the mindset of this is the album that we would have tried to write after Out of the Cellar and Invasion of Your Privacy. They were trying to write that kind of album, and you can tell. I mean, it's got the gritty, sleazy guitars, and I'll say this: vocally, Steven sounds, in my opinion, 10 times better than he did on the 99 album. And I never think he sounds bad on an album, but he's got the razor blade vocals. He's freaking that scratchy, greasy, slimy shit that comes out of his throat. So I think this is a really good album, and it's the closest you were going to get in 2010 to classic Ratt. The opening track, Eat Me Up Alive, was a single. I think it's a great song. That's, to me, the song that sounds the most like, hey, you could have put that on Invasion or Cellar. Best of Me was a single. There are videos for those two songs. Musically, it's really good. The lyrics are kind of shit, I'll be honest. And I taught English. I'm a lyric guy. Sometimes there was some juvenile fucking lyrics on that song. A little too much. I really liked. I liked the Last Call a lot. Take a Big Bite is good. And there was a almost ballad called Take Me Home. It kind of kicked in a little bit at the chorus. It lost its ballad-like properties, but that was a decent song. So even though this is at number 6, I'll say for 2010, Ratt did a hell of a job of reminding us who Ratt was. With that, Jay, everybody was so quiet, like, damn, that sounded good what you just said. Just fucking let it go and roll on to Jay, because I can't add anything to that shit. No, I'm just kidding. Jay, what do you got?
I got Reach for the Sky.
Oh,
Woman's a great song. Don't Bite the Hand That Feeds is a great song. And Way Cool Jr. is awesome. Other than that,
Thank you.
it falls flat. I mean, I think the rest of the songs on it are shit.
Okay. Shit. Can't get any more direct than all the rest of the songs on it are shit. So,
well,
right.
When you look at it, from the standpoint when I get closer to Detonator, every album, in my opinion, gets a little bit weaker songs on it.
Sure.
A little bit less as far as the hits go. Just my opinion.
Sure. Hey, I just want to throw this out there. When I talk about an album, unless you do it, I'll try to bring up the sales figures. In Infestation, obviously not certified. It did go to number 30 on Billboard, which after the 99 album went to 169. So that was a hell of a chart improvement for Ratt. Okay. Jay just had Reach for the Sky. Ryan, what's your number 6?
Got Infestation. I like it a lot. I was pumped to hear the direction they went in 2010. It's got that Ratt production. The balls are back. Some of the songs, the song Lack of Communication is a lot like Lost Weekend when they start off. If you remember that, like the first few notes are basically the first few notes of Lack of Communication. So I liked that. There's really not a weak spot on the album. I really like the addition of Carlos Cavazo. And if Juan were back, I might have put this higher because he's the secret weapon. But great album. It was tough to put it lower, but I love the Heyday albums so much. I put it there.
So, and sorry, I don't want to dominate the whole. Well, actually, I do, because it's my fucking channel, so I'll do whatever the fuck I want. But no, I'm just kidding. Sometimes I wonder, like, do I put Infestation down lower because it came out when I was fucking, in my later 30s? Like, if this had come out in the middle of the 80s, would I be like, oh, you get what I'm saying? Like, music reaches you differently.
Yeah.
When you're a teenager, and we've kind of talked about that, like you're at an important time in your life. When this album came out, I was 38. And so maybe it just, you're like, fuck, you got life going on. So So yes, that's my way of saying, hey, it's a really solid album, but it doesn't feel to me, like you said, Ryan, that it reaches all the glory days. So
Yeah.
okay, all right, Ryan or Bryan, what do you got?
Same one. I got Infestation. When it came out, it was like shit, Ratt is back. It was a big comeback album, especially after the 99 album. You haven't heard from them in a while. They haven't been playing together, all the legal shit and all that garbage. And I mean, some of the songs I like, Best of Me, yeah, I think the lyrics are horrible, but it was a catchy Ratt song. I'm not going to deny that. Lost Weekend is great. Eat 'Em Up, Meet Me Up Alive, Good as It Gets. But I'm going to go with what you guys have already said. Those big Ratt albums from the first 7 or 8 years, that you had a different connection to because you were younger, life was different. This I didn't connect as much, but it is a very good album. And again, it was Ratt coming back where you were like, oh shit, this reminds me of old school Ratt when I was younger and why I got into them.
Yep.
It's a solid album, but I think these last 6 for me, the numbers could be switched anyway because they're all solid albums. I love all these remaining 6 albums.
Yep. Shit, in 2010, you're worried about buying a house. In 1987, you're worried about having enough to buy some Jergens hand lotion and some paper towels. So, all right, let's go on. Let's go on.
Getting personal there, but all right.
I bet all of you guys had great smelling penises.
Yeah, I bet your socks are extra crispy.
I kind of like the raspberry scent myself, but anyway, I might edit that out. Let's go on to Chad.
All right, I also have Infestation. My notes say sounded closer to 80s Ratt. I just probably need to listen to it a little more. The songs that I liked, Best of Me, Little Too Much, good tune. And there's a line on Lookout Below says, she's a devil, but I like that ass. I thought that was pretty good. But then the other songs I like are Lost Weekend, and As Good as It Gets. I like the way he sang in As Good as It Gets. It just had a little different phrasing. And then on Lost Weekend, you had big guitars and drums on that one. I liked it.
All right, awesome. Bergy.
So I am also number 6 is Infestation for me. But like I said before, I like them all. So it's just, they had to go somewhere. This one fell at 6 for me. Came out in 2010. It was a really good album too. I think there's some gems on this one, but I can't say anything really that hasn't already been said other than I think some you guys mentioned Best of Me. That to me, that's an excellent standout tune on it. The whole album, I love the guitars. Of course, there's no Juan on the bass. Robbie Crane was the replacement for this album. And I think he continued to play with them and probably still does. I don't know.
Okay. That's on to our number 6. We have 5 left, and we are going to start with Jay. What's your number 5?
Dancing Undercover. I love Body Talk. That is probably my favorite Ratt song, period. There's some good stuff on there, but to me, a lot of it's just kind of ho-hum. I mean, there's not a lot of standout songs, to me at least. Great verse. Shitty chorus. I mean, same thing with One Good Love. I mean, it's just, you mentioned lyrics earlier, as far as some of them are just juvenile or whatever. Well, that kind of creeps into why I have this at number 5. I mean, the verses of a lot of the songs are great, but there's not a chorus to back it up.
All right. By the way, nice Faster Pussycat shirt or hat. I don't know if we said that before, but good call. Okay. Ryan, what's your number 5?
Reach for the Sky. I love it, and it's only number 5 of the Heyday albums because the others are so killer. And consistent theme, amazing album tracks is like the Rock Resurgence Radio saying, like, the album tracks for Ratt to me are far more consistent than the Motley ones, and almost every one of these albums I just listen to it straight through. I really, really like I Want a Woman as a single, And I do like the mid tempo. I Want to Love You Tonight. I thought it worked pretty well. I'm sorry, Bryan, but I do not do Way Cool Jr. I've never really liked the song, but I love the music video. And I think the artwork on this album, the cover is horrendous, and they could have done something a million times better. But it's very tough for me to put it at 5. I really like this album. That's where I got it.
Okay. Yeah, that cover sucks.
Very weird.
What the fuck? Reach for the Sky? I mean, what does that cover have
Like
to
Venus de Milo with goggles and some fucking hand. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
I was like really studying it this time, going, okay, what is this? Like, I've like glanced at it so many times and thought like this sucks, and then I was like, well, what is it really? And I still don't really know.
Yeah,
it's almost Riot Fire Down Under album cover confusion. Like, what the hell is this? I don't understand. It should come with some liner notes to explain what the hell I'm looking at.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
I was looking at it today too, going, I want to, because I was gonna say that the album cover sucks. So you stole my thunder, but yeah, I was looking at it trying to, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but okay, all right, Bryan, you're number 5.
I also have Dancing Undercover. Some of the songs I like: Drive Me Crazy, Slip of the Lip, Body Talk, Looking for Love is probably my favorite on the album. But talk about shitty covers. I can't stand when a band just puts pictures of themselves on the cover. It's laziness. And you got a title Dancing Undercover, and it's just them standing there. It makes no sense. Have Tawny Katane, I don't know, in sunglasses and a trench coat in the dark or something. Fucking anything. That's just laziness. But out of the classic Ratt albums, I think this one I had the least connection with, though it is a solid album. I'm not going to say it's not.
Yeah.
But that's why it's at my number 5. And again, Ratt, you could do better than just pictures of yourselves on an album cover. Any band, except the only exception, Kiss and Makeup. Those album covers with them on it, that's fine. I can't think of anything else where it looks lazy. It just looks lazy to me. I'm
gonna disagree in a way. There's times I agree. Sometimes there are times I see a picture of the band on the cover and I'm like, that picture sucks. But like, I love the cover of the Skid Row debut album, that black and white, and they're in the they're in a fucking back alley, and it just looks sleek. Like, I love that cover.
I said there were exceptions. I mean,
right.
Like Ain't
Cinderella?
Life Band by Slash's Snake Pit. They have a caricature cartoon picture of them. All right, that works. XYZ's debut. Nah, it's boring. What am I looking at?
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Okay, Chad, what's your number 5?
My number 5, and I'm surprised it's here because I really fucking like this album. But like I said, I mean, as I'm listening to these, I'm like, holy shit. How do I can't put that above that. Holy cow. Anyways, it's freaking Detonator, and I really like Detonator. It's a little more poppy, which I don't mind. Giving yourself away, that's a fucking good song. What else they got on there that I like? I like that Shame, Shame, Shame. I like the drum. I like the hi-hat to the snare thing that he does. That's cool as shit. One Step Away. That's a good one too. And Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. I like that one also. So.
All right. And let's go on to Bergy.
Heads I Win. Bon Jovi on the backing vocals. Just throwing that out there. My number 5 is also Reach for the Sky. Ryan, right? You had this at 5?
Yep.
I Want a Woman. I love that song. It's a standout for me. And I know I keep saying this. I like this album too. Just not as quite as strong as my overall top 4, in my opinion. For Ratt, the first time they had a couple of songs that I'd consider ballads on an album. I Want to Love You Tonight and What's It Gonna Be? Maybe that's not really a ballad, but kind of, to me, I think it is. Anyway, really cool album. I like the lyrics on it. Way Cool Jr., different style of song, interesting. But I'm kind of with Ryan on this one. My notes say I don't feel like it aged as well as their other classics. I really liked it when it came out. I thought it was cool. But didn't, like I said, I don't think it aged as well. But that's my 5.
Okay. All right. My number 5 is Reach for the Sky. This came out on my 16th birthday, October 24th. If anybody wants to know my birthday, you can ask for my mailing address if you need to mail me anything, or my Venmo information. I'm just kidding. It went to number 17 on Billboard. It went platinum. And the last Ratt album to go platinum. And I feel, well, I don't want to say this because that might kind of, I feel like as Robin Crosby was getting further into his addiction, and like from what I've read about Ratt is that he was really involved in the songwriting at the beginning of the band. By this point, he was not very involved in the songwriting, and a lot of times he would have Warren play his parts. Now, there's nothing wrong with, I mean, Warren's obviously a fantastic fucking guitar player, but they called him King Crosby. Like everybody said, like at the beginning of the band, he was like the guy that kept everybody together. The guy that if there was an argument, hey, let's go talk to King. He was kind of the leader of the band. So if that person is getting deeper into addiction and he's not there to kind of keep everything cohesive, that's going to lead to problems. I really like Reach for the Sky, but it's definitely not up there with, the first couple albums. So I love I Want a Woman. What a shit song title, but what a great fucking song. Unbelievably catchy. I'll say this about Way Cool Jr. Horns fucking don't belong in metal. Okay? Jesus.
How dare they use instruments?
Huh?
How dare they use instruments?
How dare you use anything that I don't signify is okay? Fucking 2 guitars, bass and drums, and if you're AC/DC, throw in the fucking bagpipes, okay? So I don't, but I love the chorus on Way Cool Jr. But the beginning of that, oh, that's fucking cheesy. I thought that was a bad choice for a first single. I really like Don't Bite the Hand That Feeds. I Want to Love You Tonight is mid-tempo. Everybody knows I love ballads. I don't know if it's a ballad. The lyrics suck in it. Chain Reaction is really up-tempo, but it just doesn't grab me a lot. I think Bottom Line is good. I think What's It Gonna Be is decent, very, very poppy, very catchy chorus. So I like this album. It's been said before, even the album tracks are always good, but there's not a lot that's great. I Want a Woman is great. I don't know if there's a ton of good songs. I don't know if there's many other great songs. That's why it's at my number 4. Or was that 5? My number 5. Excuse me. And I think I said it went to 17 on Billboard, went platinum. So with our number 4, we are going to start with Ryan. And don't let me, if I get off track, get me on track. So Ryan, what's your number 4?
All right. Dancing Undercover. And I feel like this is Piercy's wheelhouse album. This is probably the most exciting, debaucherous time to be a member of Ratt, and I can only imagine the backstage parties that went on with the New Guy's Poison openers. I love the singles: Dance, Slip of the Lip, and Body Talk. The album tracks are killer, but those 3 singles are so damn good. Yep. Another reason why I dig this album so much is that Body Talk is in that movie, The Golden Child, with Eddie Murphy. And I fucking love Eddie Murphy. He's probably my favorite comedian of all time. And that part's killer. And the thing with the album cover, I've always kind of liked it because it was just Ratt being fucking cocky and being like, this is...
And lazy.
Well, I mean, they looked good, like they looked good. They looked like slick. Piercy's doing the cigarette thing. They're like a bunch of guys that wanted to show off. And I think at that point they were so like cocky and young and out there. They're like, fuck it, put my face front and center. Agreed. There could have been something, a theme way more killer, like Yngwie's famous for fucking up album covers. Obviously Reach for the Sky sucks. Generation Swine sucks. But this one, I feel like they just wanted to show off.
I'm with Ryan. I kind of like the Dancing Undercover album cover.
It stinks. Stinks. Vixen
Brian.
looked good. They never put themselves on an album cover. So there we go.
Hey, Brian, it's all about you and what you want, okay?
Oh, okay. It is, right. Yeah, I
All right.
called up Ratt and I told them, don't put yourselves on there.
That's
Next
right.
album, don't put yourselves on there. You got to reach for the sky, whatever the fuck's going on in that picture.
And then he was like, okay, hey, maybe just put yourselves back on there after.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. This is what this real Roman looking thing is.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Reach for the Sky. I think it's a better album than some of you guys are giving it credit for. It was my first Ratt album, so that's why it's kind of higher up on my list. Why did I get it? Because I saw Way Cool Jr. on Headbangers Ball. So releasing it as a single worked for me. I still think it's a good tune. The horns work with what the theme of the song is about. What else I got on this? City to City, I think, is a good one. I Want a Woman was a great single. I thought the video with all the girls, some of them looked a little young. And I remember being like 15 going, I think that girl's younger than me. It got a little weird in some of the shots. I love What I'm After. That might be my favorite song off the album. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I mean, it's high. It's so high up mine because it is the first Ratt album I own. And I think I said this numerous times on the show where I would buy an album, then buy the back catalog of a band if I got into them. So this is the one that started off for me becoming a Ratt fan.
Okay. All right. Cool. Chad, what do you got number 4?
Number 4, I have Dancing Undercover. And I remember back in the day when it came out, I didn't care for it as much. But when I listened to it again here just recently, I was like, holy shit, another good one. And I thought I was going to have some hate for this album, but I don't. Songs I like. First song I heard off this album was Dance. I don't know if that was their first single.
I think so.
Okay, yeah, and I was like, there's a theme with Ratt I've been noticing. They always put a really good song first. I mean, not it's not like the best song, but it's a good song. It's not a shitty song.
Except for Way Cool Jr.
Yeah, unless you have horns, apparently, Mr. Sensitive. Kevin's a saxophone solo by a supermodel-looking girl, but okay.
Hey, I am very sensitive. All right, all you ladies out there.
My Way Cool Jr.
Every bald guy has a soft side.
It's kind of cheesy, but I like it. But back to Dancing Undercover. I really like Slip of the Lip, Body Talk, and I really like 7th Avenue. It reminds me of he plays some of these guys play a lot of I call them George Lynch type notes, and there was quite a few in this 7th Avenue, and I just went, yeah, I like that. So that's why I got Dancing Undercover in my 4 spot.
I feel like if there's a band that whose careers kind of compare, it would be Dokken to Ratt. They came out around the same time, bands that were kind of steadily platinum. Neither one of them got to outrageous heights. And then around 1990, both of them fell apart,
Yeah, it is, very similar story. Yep. And
okay.
they, and all their albums are pretty damn good.
Fucking A. All right. Number 4, Bergy.
My number 4 is an album you guys shit all over. It seemed like, but again, so the 99 Ratt. It seems like I've said this every single time, but I really like you. We're just talking about Reach for the Sky. I love that album, but it was my number 5 or whatever. But anyway, their first album without Juan and Robin, and it was kind of experimental, I guess, for them, but I really think it works. And somebody else I think mentioned this too, that I think they were trying to fit in like post grunge, in my opinion. But like I already said, I like it a lot. And here's just a quick note, and this could be totally wrong. Just doing some research on this, and maybe this is false. But apparently, John Corabi helped with the songwriting. He's not credited on any of the songs. Apparently, he didn't play any of the guitar on the album, but he did tour with them as a guitarist.
Yep.
During this time frame. Warren actually plays DeMartini plays all the guitars, the rhythm, and the solo stuff on the album, along with a guest, Michael Schenker. So joined the band as a touring guitarist. But apparently, John Corabi co-wrote Over the Edge, Live for Today, We Don't Belong, and Breakout. So
I always thought that Michael Schenker thing was such an odd combo. Like when he filled in for Robin in the Detonator tours, when they did like, there's a show from Japan on YouTube. It's from like 90 or 91. And it was so fucking weird seeing Michael Schenker. It was like, that's like the last person I thought that would join Ratt. You know what I mean?
Right.
What was he doing at the time, though? If they offer him a job, why not?
I mean, MSG was still kicking.
Were they? I thought they were done by 90.
That 91 MSG album is my favorite one by them.
Yeah, they did put that out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Jeff Pilson, and that's a freaking good album. But yeah, it was a very odd combo.
Yeah, and I think it's odd for me that I had this album so high, compared to everybody else, when John Corabi, who did the Motley Crue 94, and I think I had that as my least favorite Crue album, but I really like this one. It seems like it's just a little harder. I know what you're saying about the vocals earlier. One of the guys was talking about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the same sound, but I fit it in right in the middle of the countdown for myself. So
Charlie's here. Yeah, tell everybody that you're going to kill the cat. You're going to eat the cat. The cat's very naughty. Isn't that right? And he keeps now the cat can fucking jump up on the kitchen counter. So now I get up and there's shit on the floor from the kitchen counter. And I'm like, fucking
I got a picture for you.
I'm just gonna so now I started leaving the back door open. I'm like, well, if the cat runs away, then it was meant to be, but the little fucker comes back every time. So
you gotta film this, but put tin foil up there.
Oh, I heard about this.
Oh man, watch some of the videos. It's fucking hilarious.
Like if you put
people up there and they will just jump another 10 feet in the air because they don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like cucumbers? Do you think that they think it's like a snake? Like, do you think that it's like a primal thing where they think it's a snake?
I don't know, but the cucumber things is hilarious too.
That's so funny.
But yeah, if you don't want them jumping on your counters, you put tinfoil up there. They'll hit that and they will skyrocket and they won't be up there again.
But I have voles, like those little mice. They're little mice but they're called voles or whatever.
Voles.
Voles. And the cat is killing the shit out of some voles. It comes up to the back patio with a fucking vole every once or twice a day. And then sometimes
wait that little bastard leaves one on your kitchen counter.
Oh, I know. That's why I don't leave the door. I close the door. But then Charlie will chase the cat until it drops the bowl, and then Charlie fucking eats it. I'm like, that's so gross. Yeah.
And then licks your face.
Yeah, I took a picture of her. I took a picture of Charlie. She's got all you see is two little paws and a big long tail fucking hanging out of her mouth.
Oh my God.
Because you're very naughty. Okay. All right. My number 4, right? We started with Ryan. My number 4 is Dancing Undercover. Came out in 86, went to number 26, went platinum. And this is the album after Invasion. So just for Invasion went to 7, went double platinum. So platinum is very good, but I'm sure they were hoping for a little bit better. Here, I love the song Dance. Stupid fucking song title. Like I Want a Woman. But you hear a song title name, you're like a heavy metal band or whatever. Dance.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
But it's fucking great. It's catchy as shit. I really like One Good Lover. And most Slip of the Lip and Body Talk are really solid songs. I really like this album. The fact that it is number 4 is not a bad thing. I just like the other 3 better. I like the cover, and I do have one Ratt shirt. It's from the Out of the Cellar tour. It's not original. I bought it on eBay, but it's all fucking cut up because I wore it to a concert and it was 102 degrees out. So I cut the shit out of it. But if I'm looking for a Ratt shirt on eBay. I like shirts that have the pictures of the band on the cover. Because when I walk around town, I want people to know I like fucking hair metal. If you have some picture that doesn't show you what the band looks like. So I like the pictures of the band. Anyway.
Maybe you get a shirt with "Reach for the Sky" on it. The cover of "Reach for the Sky."
Nobody's buying a shirt with "Reach for the Sky" on it. Hey, Jay, what's your number 4?
Infestation. Kind of in line with what you guys said. It's a solid album. It's a bit of a return to form from what they did back in the 80s. Eat Me Up Alive is good. Best of Music and Last Call. Ryan, I think it was you that said Lost Weekend's kind of similar guitar-wise to lack of communication.
Yeah.
I picked up the same thing out of it. I mean, it's a good, solid album. There's not really anything on it I would skip. I just find it a little bit more user-friendly than the last couple from the 80s, you know, with Reach for the Sky, Dancing Undercover. I think that just all the way down is just a bit more solid.
Okay. All right. That wraps up our number 4s. We are on to the number 3. We're starting with Bryan this time. Bryan, what's your number 3?
My number 3, Invasion of Your Privacy. I mean, that album kind of took what Out of the Cellar was doing, and they got better with their craft, basically, more experience. But they had a lot of solid songs on this one. Lay It Down has a killer opening riff to it. That's just fucking killer. I mean, I remember watching the video on YouTube a while ago, and there was a guy in the comments that said, I used to have a guitar instructor that was like, big blues and jazz player, and I wanted him to figure out this song to help me, play it. And the guy was like, I have no idea what he's doing here. I have no clue how he's playing this thing. And so that's a killer tune. Dangerous but Worth the Risk is good. You're in Love, my favorite. Never Use Love. It's a great tune. I mean, it's a solid album. I mean, these last 3 for me, interchangeable. So it's just, you have to put it in some kind of order. This is at 3.
Okay. All right. On to Chad. What do you got for number 3?
I gotta think here. I got Reach for the Sky.
Nice. I respect that.
Yeah. And these top 3 are just they could all be interchanged. Well, actually, no, they couldn't, because number 1's number 1 just because it's number 1. These next 2, 3 and 2 could definitely be switched around, I guess. I like City to City. Another great opener. I Want a Woman. Everybody's talked about it. Good, cool riff. I do like Way Cool Jr. It's
Thank you.
kind of cheesy, but I like it. It's different. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't your 1, 2, 3 how they just do every song.
Yeah, he's the hottest thing to ever hit this town. Come on.
Yeah. I actually like I Want to Love You Tonight. I think it's a pretty good song. And then What's It Gonna Be? It's got a little different guitar riff. I like it. So that's my take, and I guess that's where she'll be.
Okay, I just got it. Okay, here's Steph Curry. And I will say that I know I talk like I hate the fucking cat, but then it sits, ow! And then when it's curled up on my chest,
shit on my face. It's great.
When it's curled up on my chest, and then it'll like nuzzle my nose with and I'm like, okay, you can live here.
And he whispers in your ear, "Don't go into the kitchen.
All your shit's on the floor. Don't go
shit all over the floor, and there's a dead vole in the sink."
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah,
wasn't it Steph Kitty, and now it
was Steph Kitty
Curry?
And then because
I thought it should have been Steph Curry.
That's
because they were going to name it after Steph Curry, but Steph Kitty and Bryan. Yeah, Bryan was the one. Well, how about Steph Curry? And I was like, that's even fucking better.
That's way better.
So now it's Steph Curry. Thanks to Bryan.
You should have renamed Dancing Undercover.
but
put the cat on the album cover with a dead
don't be responsible for the cover. Hey, a cat, going after a rat, that's kind of cool. Anyway, all right, okay.
There you go. The rat's hiding from the cat. It's on the cover. There you go.
Dancing Undercover. Holy shit! It's not that hard, people.
Yeah, come on. Well, when you're on cocaine, it might be a little tough.
It might be hard. Yeah. Okay. Chad just went. Bergy, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Dancing Undercover. And I literally, my first note in there, the album cover is cool as hell. Oh,
Shite.
I like it also.
I disagree with Bryan, but that's okay. I love this, that we have some differing opinions.
I gotta say something. Bryan, did you never buy a fucking album because of the album cover? Like,
Oh, I have. Not that
because
one.
you've seen the guys like Cinderella or Brittany Fox or anything like that?
No, because all right. So by that point, I would have heard songs from them. Those two bands I heard from them, but yeah, I never went into a record store and looked at a cassette. The cover, these guys look good. I'm gonna get this album.
Oh, I've done it numerous
did
times.
that.
But we
It's a
we
mistake.
came from a town of 600 people, and we were just looking for new shit.
So I lived in civilization, so we actually had stacks of records and albums and cassettes.
Yeah, my state feeds you.
You know what's funny about like hair metal bands and talking about being from a town of 600. We all loved hair metal bands back in the 80s, but if a dude would have walked into our school and looked like CC DeVille, he probably would have got the shit beat out of him and everybody would have hated him. But we adored them as musicians, but we never wanted a guy like that in our school. It's kind of a fucking weird time, but anyway.
Well, unless he pulled out a guitar and could rip like
Right.
fucking, and he
True.
said,
Yeah.
"Okay, let's start
You
again."
busted his hands and his face. I don't think you have a chance to.
That's true. Bergy, go ahead and finish up. I kind of
Sorry.
interrupted.
Yeah, so back to Dancing Undercover and why it's the number 3 for me. Standout tracks on it. I love Dance, like you said, bad title, but fucking great song. Slip of the Lips, another killer. I really like Looking for Love, and I really love the last song on the album, Enough is Enough. That's cool guitar intro and the lyrics and the way they are sung in the song, the way Stephen Pearcy sings the song. I like the way you talk when you undress me. That's great for me. And then it goes on, and in the next verse, it's you like the way I hold and squeeze you, and then bam, the drum kicks in. I love it.
Yeah, I love that song. And like I said, it's his wheelhouse. This
Kind
Pierce's
of got me kind of
wheelhouse.
horny there.
Sorry.
What? What'd you say?
I said you got me kind of horny there.
All
Well, I
right,
didn't
baby.
mean to do that, but to steal a phrase from Chad, it just kind of kicks you in the teeth right there when the drums kick in.
Do I
Solid,
make you
solid.
horny? Anyway.
What?
I said, do I make you horny, baby? Do I?
Ugh.
I was like, who the hell said that? It didn't sound like anybody's voice.
I think it was a solid follow-up to their 2 best albums. Stay tuned. They were legit.
Spoiler alert.
They were legit big time in '86 when they have a song on an Eddie Murphy soundtrack too.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more raw, straightforward rocker than some of the others that didn't make the top 3 for me. Just not quite good enough to make the top 2.
I hear you. Okay. My number 3 is Detonator from 1990. And this came out, the band, you could tell they knew. They're like, fuck, we started off, we went triple platinum with Cellar. We went double platinum with the Invasion. Platinum and platinum is good. But they pulled out all the fucking stops on Detonator. They got Desmond Child to produce. He co-wrote every song that was the song, not the intro to Shame, because that's just a guitar intro. Diane Warren, I mean, I gotta imagine it costs a lot of money to have fucking Diane Warren write for you. She wrote I Don't Want to Miss a Thing for Aerosmith. She's written a ton of huge hits, I think for like Celine Dion and shit. She wrote Giving Yourself Away, the one ballad. So they were like, fuck, we got to do something great to get back and stay around platinum. They went for it. This album is really poppy, but it's catchy as shit. It went to number 23 on Billboard. It only went gold, the last Ratt album to certify. Shame, Shame, Shame. It was a single. It's a really solid song. Lovin' You's a Dirty Job was a single. I don't know that I think that should have been a single. The verses aren't that great. It's a good song. I like it. One Step Away, I think should have been a single. Very poppy, but holy shit, catchy. The chorus will not leave your head. Just an earworm. Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, I think is super catchy. Great chorus. And Can't Wait on Love, I really like a lot. And Giving Yourself Away, co-written by Diane Warren, is one of my favorite ballads. When I think of Stephen Pearcy, I don't think, oh, that guy should do ballads. But fuck, this is a great ballad. I love the lyrics. It's so catchy. And for Stephen's gritty voice, just in a way kind of makes it more emotional. One of my favorite ballads of the hair metal movement, and that puts this album at number 3. And with that, Jay, what's your number 3?
Invasion of Your Privacy. Kind of as has been said here. I could flip a coin. One day it'd be this, another day it'd be Detonator, so on and so forth. With these last few, they're all great albums. So today it's Invasion of Your Privacy. Lay it down. I mean, Jesus, that guitar part is insane. Your Love, great song. You Should Know by Now, great song. I mean, the list can keep going. Can't find anything bad about it.
All right, agreed. That's your number 3. Ryan, what's your number 3?
Well, the irony of this one, Chad, let me just do this for you. Can you see it?
Tattoo.
Oh yeah, that's the Ratt symbol. Yeah.
I can't get it. There.
Yep. Cool.
Got that when I was 21. So there's the Ratt tattoo that you've been missing.
Well, I got one to cover up, so that's
Funny you should say that something about a Ratt tattoo. I was like,
yep.
Perfect. Wasn't planning on that, but Detonator, that's the logo. There you go.
Yep.
And it's got the R for my name, so I had to put my initials underneath it. That's why it's really there. But anyway. All right, so Detonator. Can't Wait on Love may be in my top 5 Ratt songs of all time. And I know that Robin brought that one in, and he was super pumped to do so. I love that song. Hard Time, that song, the kick in on that thing is killer. One Step Away and Giving Yourself Away, I love. I like that they took chances with those last two I just mentioned. They're both kind of like mid-tempo Ratt songs / ballads, and I thought they worked really well. And this is a song an album that I go to probably tied for the most at this point in my life. So yeah, love this album.
Well, if you got it tattooed on your back, I should hope so. Okay.
Yeah.
I got into some argument on one of my videos with some douchebag who was like, because I think I talked about Giving Yourself Away at some point, and this douchebag was like, Giving Yourself Away is not a ballad. Ratt has never had a ballad. I'm like, Giving Yourself Away, go ask 100 people that like this kind of music if that's a ballad. I guarantee you 99 are going to say it's a ballad, and the one fucker who doesn't is going to be you. So it's fucked up. So yes, it's a ballad, and agreed. I love it. Shit, I can't remember who started this number 3, but Bryan, Bryan, did you do your number 3?
I did my number 3 is Invasion of Your Privacy. Yeah.
Okay. So Bryan started. Okay, we are done with our number 3. We're on our number 2. Bryan started that one. Chad, you're up. What do you got at number 2?
Number 2 is Invasion of Your Privacy. I saw them, as I discussed earlier on this tour, and it was fucking awesome. And who's the girl on the cover? Is hot as balls.
I'm about to talk about her.
Yeah. You talk. She's hot as shit. Tawny Contain's on the number 1, but anyways.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Hard to figure out. I like pretty much every song on this. You Should Know by Now. I love that breakdown in there that they got. What You Give is What You Get. Reminds me of George Lynch again.
Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. Potential call.
No problem.
Right back.
Closer to My Heart. It's slower. And I'm kind of a sucker for slower songs now, apparently, as I get older. Lay It Down is just probably my favorite Ratt song. The guitar work is amazing in that song. I play guitar and I tried to learn it, and it's really, really, really hard to do because you got to be really flexible with your fingers. And then, of course, You're in Love and Never Use Love and all the rest of the goddamn songs. They're all good.
Bryan, you're flexible with your fingers and you got strong hand muscles. I don't know why.
You know why.
Kitty's like, hey, we having
Hey,
peanut
'cause
butter
I'm-
again tonight? What's up? All right.
Uh,
Bergy, what's your number two?
Getting fucking tired.
My number two is also Invasion of Your Privacy. And first of all, let's talk about that model on the cover. Her name was Marianne Gravate or Gravat. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Doesn't really matter. She was the 1983 Playmate of the Year, and she was in Playboy at least 6 times. Not that I looked. She may look like Jay now. She's 64 years old for all I know. No offense.
Wow.
But good golly.
No offense, Jay. No offense.
She may look like me now. No offense, but doesn't matter. I haven't Googled her or anything, but she was in it actually an April 91 feature in there called The Women of Ratt. So Tawny Kitane's probably in there. Who knows who else? Interesting that Ratt was cool enough to have a spread in Playboy with The Women of Ratt. Now on to the music. So the album to me just starts off killer with the song You're in Love. Opening riff, drums, Stephen Pearcy's cool vocal in that song. And from there, it doesn't disappoint from there. I mean, it just gets better and better. Third track, Lay It Down, is an absolute masterpiece as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
The music video.
A Ratster piece. How do you say it?
However you want to say it. The video was cool back in the day. Later, I think Jerry Seinfeld stole Steven's shirt for the puffy shirt episode. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but the "Okay Now, Steven, blow out the candles," the Chucko the Clown.
Oh, with the clown. It's right.
Good stuff. I don't think there's a bad song on the album. Every single one rocks, in my opinion. This is Ratt at their best. Every member delivers stellar performances throughout. That was my note. So,
okay. Hey, before we go, hey Jay, is that Hold Your Fire? Did you get that from me?
Yes, indeed.
And then so that Jay's Hold Your Fire frame from Firehouse, he got that when he came to my sale. And then I see that's a cool. I used to have that Skid Row poster. That's to the right.
I've had that poster since I won it at a carnival way back in the day.
Okay, kick ass. All right, my number two is also Invasion of Your Privacy from 1985. Went to number 7 on Billboard, went 2 times platinum. I'm like, how the fuck did this thing only go 2 times platinum? And this was, bands were just starting to put ballads. So Ratt was never known for having ballads. I think that hurt them in the early days. Motley Crue had Home Sweet Home in 85. Dokken had Alone Again in 84. And, from Giving Yourself Away, shit, Pearcy can do ballads. But this album is fucking amazing. You're in Love? Holy shit. Now, I did read that there was a big controversy that the band wanted Lay It Down to be the first single. The record company wanted You're in Love. I love You're in Love. I fucking love Lay It Down. So I don't know that there was but the band, I think they thought that riff in Lay It Down was the selling point. Whatever. You're in Love, amazing. Never Use Love. That wasn't a single. I thought it could have been. Fucking great song. Lay It Down, I talked about. Closer to My Heart was about the closest you were going to get to a ballad. It's a little bit more mid-tempo, kind of, poppy. That's a great song. You Should Know By Now, I fucking love. I thought that could have been a single. And then I also love Dangerous, but Worth the Risk. We talked about the cover. Just, man. And I love all of Ratt, but now that you know what my number 2 is, you probably know what my number 1 is. Man, for a couple of years, they were just one of the perfect bands of this genre.
For sure.
With that, Jay, what is your number 2?
My number 2, I literally flipped a coin on this about 20 minutes ago because I couldn't pick. My number 2, Detonator. Everything you guys have already said. It's great songs. I mean, the production's a little bit slick on it. That's Desmond Child and Arthur Pace. But definitely miss that Robin Crosby influence on the songwriting. I think he was pretty well. Did he even play on that album?
I don't think much.
I mean, he was pretty much done for at that point because of drugs. I mean, very sad that happened to the guy, but I mean, he can't be overstated as to what he brought to the table. And I think had he been part of the creative process behind it, that would have been, I mean, an absolutely huge album.
Yeah, I have no problem with that being your number 2. I fucking love that album. So, all right. Ryan's back. Ryan had to go prove to everyone that he's a real firefighter again by like, oh, hold on, I got to go save the world. I'll be right back.
That was just a call of some guy complaining that a cat keeps bringing voles into the kitchen.
That's right. That's right. Ryan's like, hey guys, call me at about this time so I can tell everybody that I'm a firefighter again.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Ryan.
I have rescued a cat off an old lady's roof before.
Have you?
Generally, we don't go out for things like that, but she was so sweet. I had to put my structure fire gloves on, and that fucking cat still got through those things.
I might need you to come rescue my cat. Anyway, hey, I salute your work as a firefighter. That's a noble profession. Ryan, what's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm going to go for
Ryan.
Ryan? No, never mind.
My bad. Ryan, yes.
Coming from the military, man, I appreciate that. So anyway, okay, I got Invasion. And maybe Jay, you could speak to this, but my very first note I wrote is probably some of the best guitar tone I've ever heard on any record. And I don't know if you want to chime in now, but it's just so full and crunchy. Do you think that there's a reason, or do you think I'm crazy?
I'm trying to remember what they used for amps back then. I think they might have been Laney's. Those are a British founded amp. I've had a couple over the years. They're just fucking massive. I mean, you can get any sound you want out of them. As long as it's metal, baby, you can get anything you want out of them.
So I'm not crazy. It's different and killer.
Here's what I hear you guys saying. Here's what I hear you guys saying right now. Want. Anyway.
Well, then shut up.
You forgot.
Shut up and let him talk.
Anything happen when I do this? All right, go ahead.
All right. But like you guys have said, my 2 non-hit favorites, Never Use Love and You Should Know by Now. They're just like the perfect cocky rock star cocaine mid-'80s epics, both lyrically, content, and riffage. I fucking love those songs. You're in Love and Lay It Down are singles I'll always play. I love this album. I love the artwork, and I love the attitude laced on these albums in the mid-'80s. All these albums from this genre, this scream cockiness, which I love from bands like this. So this was this close to being my number 1, and it's almost a tie, but I love this album. Play it a lot still.
Okay. All right. And Bryan, now you can go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Guru. I'm going to throw a Ryan-esque curveball here. I'm going to put Out of the Cellar at my number 2.
Okay.
It's all killer, no filler.
Don't feel bad. That was my coin flip a little bit ago.
Yeah, it's all killer, no filler. Great album. I mean, every track is unbelievable. Wanted Man, Lack of Communication, In Your Direction has a great hooky guitar. It's so fucking heavy. Round and Round and Back for More, the classic Ratt songs, top to bottom, classic Ratt. I think every album after it was compared to this one. It's such a fantastic album. But I had to put it at number 2, like you, Jay. It was a coin flip.
All right. Okay.
Stunned. Set your faces to stunned.
I did. Hey, did everybody do their number 2? Because I think Chad started it off.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna flip things around. I'm gonna go in a random order if that's okay. Because I'll just finish so then I can go into the conclusion. But let's have Jay start with your number. Jay, what's your number one?
Out of the Cellar. I mean, shit. Everything on there is killer. Morning After. I don't think anybody's mentioned that song. That song is fucking phenomenal. Back for More, lack of communication, just, I mean, everything. It's the tones, the songs, the attitude, everything. It was just perfect.
Yeah, all right. Let's go on to we'll just go on to Ryan and we'll Ryan, what's your number one?
All right, Out of the Cellar. Just go down the track listing. You'll sing every chorus. You'll play every riff. And each song all probably have a special meaning for each one of you guys as you go down. I know it does for me. Not a single weak spot. The album artwork rules. And as a sleeper, I love She Wants Money. That's one of my favorite Ratt songs. It's again with the attitude and the cockiness. I love it. And I know that Robin, I was just trying to find the name of the band. Could have been Phenomenon, could have been Secret Service, but there was a bunch of demos that Robin brought in from the band. It was like In Your Direction and maybe I'm Insane or something like that. So these were kind of laying around from some Robin tracks. And, you know, that speaks to him being the king back then. And I've heard some of the demos and they're pretty cool. They're pretty true to form. Piercy kind of pierced them up, but I could not deny Out of the Cellar.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bryan, what's your number one?
My number one is my favorite Ratt album, Detonator. Or as my friend in college used to call it, Denitar. It's like, you like that new Ratt album called Denitar? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, the new Ratt album. Like, no, that's Detonator, you dummy. But I kind of put this on number one, kind of throw a curveball again. But it's, again, my favorite Ratt album. It's kind of like an up-to-date Ratt for the time period. You look at the early hair metal bands that were big in the like 83, 84. First of all, Quiet Riot with their Metal Health, Twisted Sister, Dokken, and Ratt. By 90, Ratt was the only one really still around. And it kind of showed the staying power of this band to be able to even, they're trying to reinvent themselves, trying to get big again, but they were still around to do so. At the time, Dokken was done for years by that time. You said a lot of the songs already. Loving You's a Dirty Job, I think is a great tune. Scratch That Itch, I like. Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, of Bon Jovi banging out the background vocals is a good song. One Step Away, Can't Wait on Love, and Giving Yourself Away should have been a huge hit. I don't know how it wasn't. I mean, it only sold 500,000, but again, it's showing Ratt's staying power. For the better of 9 years, they were still doing it. And a lot of bands from that same time period when they broke just were gone. And it's my favorite album by them, so I had to put it number one.
That's a really valid point. That they came out, Twisted Sister, Quiet Riot, they were all peers, and they were all fucking done by 90. You know, or if they were hanging around, they certainly weren't fucking selling any albums.
No.
You know. Quiet Riot put out an album in 92. I think 3 people bought it, and I was one of them. So,
dude, awesome of you to put that as number one. That's such a killer album, man. You
I
got balls for doing it.
So let's go on to Chad. What's your number one, Chad?
It is Out of the Cellar, of course, and it is phenomenal. And no, there's not a fucking bad song on there. There's one that I don't. You said She Wants Money is killer or whatever. That's the one that. It's probably an 8 out of 10, where everything else is a 10 for me. But Scene of the Crime is one of my favorite songs on the album, and I don't think I heard anybody talk about that. And I was going to throw this out there. The way when I was watching this Bo Hale thing today, what the band would do is all the members would bring in a tape with 3 or 4 songs in it, and then he would pick the songs that he thought were going to be big, and he basically said, so half the band hated me all the time. These guys didn't like me because I didn't pick their songs, and these guys did.
All right, awesome. Bergy, what's your number one?
My number one is also Out of the Cellar. I do just want to say that I put Detonator at 7. but I'm a huge Ratt fan, and I love that album, and I totally respect somebody having it at number one. So good job on that one. Good songs. I feel like they were trying really hard to be hit makers with bringing in Desmond Child. Anyway, I'm not talking about that album. I'm talking about my favorite, my number one, Ratt Out of the Cellar. I do just want to do a quick shameless plug for our Rock Resurgence Radio. Our first episode of season 2 is on the 13th of September, and we did a retro review of this album, actually. So we already shot it, edited it, just waiting to put it up. Anyway, this was really hard for me. I actually had Invasion of Your Privacy at number one, and I changed my mind actually today, last minute. Man, what can I say about this album? This was the album that got me into this kind of music, so it's really hard for me to keep it out from being number one. I had some hair metal or some metal stuff before this. You remember this came out in 1984. Came out in March of 84.
You're 13.
I was 12 in March. My birthday was in May, so I was a tween, or whatever you want to call it. The single came out, Round and Round, in late April, so maybe when I first heard it, I was 13 years old. So the couple of things I had maybe before this were, you guys mentioned them actually, Quiet Riot, Twisted Sister. I might have had a Motley album, but at 12 years old and just turning 13, this comes out and it just absolutely did it for me. And this is 40 years later. I was hooked then, and I'm nervous almost talking about it because I love it so much. And we just did this episode thing where we reviewed it.
Yep.
So everybody knows the hits, the main songs, so I'm not going to talk about them. They're kind of all highlights for me, but I did just want to mention a few of the criminally underrated songs, in my opinion. In Your Direction, The Morning After, I'm Insane, and especially Scene of the Crime. I love, love, love it. Even though it was tough, it shouldn't have been. Easy number one for me.
Okay. Yeah. My number one is Out of the Cellar. Here, my two least favorite songs on this album, are In Your Direction and She Wants Money. I fucking love those songs. This album is, and I've probably talked with Bryan and Ryan about it, that we should do an episode sometime of albums that we think are all killer, no filler. There is no filler on this album. I don't think Lack of Communication was a single. That sometimes I think that might be my favorite song on the album. It wasn't even a fucking single.
Yeah.
And I probably didn't get this album until the late 80s. I'm sure I knew Round and Round, but I was 11 when this came out. So when I started buying albums was probably 85, 86, really 88, 89 when I started having jobs and stuff and could buy my own shit. So it was probably years later when I'm like, maybe I borrowed it from somebody. And then you realize, holy shit, besides the 3 singles that were on the radio, everything was fucking good. So I've said before that Back in Black is probably my favorite album of all time. But damn it, there is no filler on this thing. I love this album. I love Ratt. So this might be in my top, maybe it's in my top 10 albums of all, maybe it's in my top 5 albums of all time. I don't know, but it's up there fucking really high. So with that, anybody got anything they want to add before we I want to add this. I love the album Arcade that Piercy put out in 93. So Detonator doesn't do that great. Then grunge hits. So Ratt's done. Arcade puts out an album. Fred Corey, whatever, from Cinderella was on drums. One of the guys from Sea Hags, Frankie Wilsex, I think played guitar, was on. And I put that up there with the best Ratt albums. If I put Arcade on here, I bet it might be in my top 3. So if you've never listened to the debut Arcade album, go check that shit out. It is unbelievable for a 1993 album. Okay.
Good record.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Hey, in the comments, please, and I love a ton of people were putting their lists for the Motley albums in the comments. A lot of people commented on that episode. So it's done really well. It's over 2,000 views. Thank you, everybody who watched that one. Tell us what you disagree with, or just give us your list, and let us know what you think, and let us know what other roundtables you would like to see in the future. And now that I say that, we should do one on, if you guys want to, we should do one on your guys' channel if you'd like to crank one out sometime.
That would be a lot of fun. Let's think of which one we want to do, and we'll be in touch.
Blue Murder.
We'll talk about there too.
2 albums, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, all right, Jay, thank you for being back on, man.
All right. Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right, Ryan, always good to have you back on the channel, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Make sure you put out all those fires, and make sure you turn the stove off when you're making your stovetop stuffing. Bryan from the Hairband Basement, tell everybody, remind everybody about your shit.
Yes. Well, first, thanks for having me on. It's always great talking with you guys, a bunch of cool people talking about cool music. Catch my show on Stationhead. Download the app. Every Friday I'm on there playing deep tracks from this genre of music. If you miss it live, you can always listen to the recordings. Find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at HB Basement. Always talking music there.
Rock Resurgence Radio, guys. Chad and Bergy, thank you so much for being back on, guys.
Yeah,
For having us.
thanks for fucking having us. It's always a blast. The jokes are great. The music's great. We couldn't say enough. We enjoy doing it, and we're definitely going to have to do one on our channel, and that will be in the near future here. But no, check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. We're on all the podcast places, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. I don't know. We're in a bunch of fucking spots. Whatever.
Yeah, it was really good to see all you boys again, and thanks so much for having us. We love it.
Oh, look at that shit. There you go.
Whoa.
Jeremy had to work at school tonight taking tickets because he's dedicated to the kids. Go check those guys out in Rock Resurgence Radio. Hey, check out my Facebook page, Hair Metal Guru. I also have a page called Classic Rock Fargo. I update on when I'm opening up my garage for people to come check out the House of Hair if anybody ever wants to come down. Subscribe, whatever you do. I just appreciate you being here. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care.